Of justice on time's endless page, your theme of justice in race, creed, and age, justice for women, for children.
There are approximately 220,000 unmarried couples in North Carolina, each affected by Amendment 1. It is estimated that 12% of us are of the same sex.
Late civil rights worker Fannie Lou Hamer said, "We want to be regarded as decent human beings in America. We want to be first-class citizens. So do we.
Listen.
Get to know us.
This is who we are.
These are our struggles."
Only one word. Abomination.
It is his hope that his grandchildren see him as a whole person, as someone to be proud of.
Confront and overcome the promotion by so many people that he is less than whole, less than good, less than equal.
Second class.
When asked what he longed for most, other than the right to marry, he thought, then quietly replied,
Dignity.
Hell to gain and a hell to shun. My parents were Pentecostals. These same men were the loudest voices against the sin of homosexuality, for the hypocrisy of these heterosexuals. I trusted no one.
They were trying to drive this thing called gay out of me. I felt trapped, smothered. My first and only thought was to get away. So I cried out, yes, I was gay, but now I'm saved.
In order for Gail to have rights to our child, she would have to sue me for custody. So we went before a judge in a so-called friendly lawsuit. The judge, whom our lawyer friend handpicked, was able to sign up on the custody papers, giving Gail the same rights to the child as those of a biological father would have if he were not married to the mother. But now here are the questions that go through my mind as I think about Amendment 1. Would a constitutional amendment override a legal document signed by a judge? And before adopting our daughter, we thought leaving her to Gail in my will would be sufficient. My lawyer informed us that wills can be overturned by family members seeking custody.
there. It was then that I was served papers stating that Kat was suing me for custody of Paige and Dan. Shock doesn't even begin to describe how I felt. Kat had no grounds for this action. So Jackie and I went to court, and the court temporarily ordered that the children spend every other Friday night with Kat. And my live-in boyfriend with anger issues, I doubt she would have succeeded.
2 students studying nursing.
Their curriculum included material on some controversial subjects: Obama's health care plan, Medicare, Medicaid, drug abuse, rape victims, and abortion. So, tell me, why had there been no lectures about the special needs of patients that were part of a same-sex couple?
The students were aware that partner benefits or next of kin could become issues with these patients. They knew that a patient's partner can be denied any legal right over their loved one's care. They could be barred from seeing a partner if faced with discriminatory medical staff or family members, and how Amendment 1 could affect nurses' care for same-sex couples.
To the students' surprise, many of the teachers claimed that issues involving homosexuals had little to do with nursing and was too political in nature to be discussed in the classroom.
Now, I have been nice to the medical profession so far, but that stops here for a while. I know that emergency rooms on a Friday night are a nightmare. I know the staff is overwhelmed. I know. But what happened over the next hours was inhumane. If you can't treat people with some semblance of human dignity, then get the hell out of the profession. Are you a relative? Hell, second class doesn't even come close. I was no one. I was nothing. Now, I'm lucky. Hall's sisters, his next of kin, agreed with me on the disposition of his body. I had him cremated and interred at our church.
And now the General Assembly of North Carolina, Session 2011, Senate Bill 514, has come up with a bill entitled An Act to Amend the Constitution to provide that marriage between one man and one woman is the only legal domestic union that shall be valid or recognized in this state.
I want them to know that they can't create a job, feed a child, cover a hospital bill, but by God, they can crawl into a bedroom and pass their judgment. I know that I have loved and been loved. I know that God has blessed me to have been loved and to have loved. I don't need some government or religious order to tell me that.
I think about those of us who are forced to live a life that is not completely open. Will passage of the amendment increase this pressure?
I wonder, will my partner and I be able to adopt a child?
I worry that it could separate the divorced father from his own son.
I ask myself, will it do away with partners' medical power of attorney, survivor's will, survivor's right to determine the disposition of their loved one's body?
Will it eliminate partner rights?
As a mother in an unmarried partnership, these questions race through my mind. If Amendment 1 passes and I die, does that mean my biological brother could use Amendment 1 to overturn Gail's custody of our child? And if that is a possibility, should my family even stay in North Carolina?
What already exists of gay family law has put the best interest of my children last, not first. I'm afraid that the passage of Amendment 1 would make our situation worse.
My friend was beaten by her boyfriend. She grabbed her child and rushed to a woman's shelter. The boyfriend was given a restraining order. Will Amendment 1 make that order invalid?
This amendment will introduce into the North Carolina Constitution vague and untested language.
Why?
Simply put, to discriminate, to impose the values of one generation upon the next. It is an amendment written to deny freedom rather than preserve freedom.
If it's against the law for people of the same gender to marry now, why bother with an amendment?
This amendment goes further than marriage of same-sex couples. This amendment bans civil unions for anyone. All unmarried couples, including those that are of the opposite sex. This amendment could do away with existing partner benefits. This amendment could undercut existing child custody and visitation rights designed to protect the best interests of children. This amendment could invalidate trusts, wills, and end-of-life directives by one partner in favor of another. This amendment could override domestic violence protection.
Think. If there had been an amendment instead of a law prohibiting the right of women to vote.
Think! If there had been an amendment instead of a law preserving the right to own slaves.
Think, if there had been an amendment instead of a law to deny the rights of children of different races to attend the same school.
Think, if there had been an amendment rather than a law to deny marriage between blacks and whites.
Think how times and ideas change.
It is impossible to predict how courts will use this language. But at the very least, it will take years of expensive litigation to settle this amendment's meaning.
It could put our lives, our families' lives, in legal limbo, perhaps for the rest of our lives.
Where there is someone unfairly
action. Come